Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here. Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. We're talking today about how to get my upper body ready to hit. You hear a bunch of different things from a lot of different coaches and players, okay? And so I want to talk about what is the way to get this upper body ready to hit. What do I want to do? What am I thinking? What's my thought process? You hear a bunch of things. You hear some people say that they've got to push their hands back, right? You hear some people say, walk away from your hands. You hear some people say, don't do anything with your hands, right? Just stride out. You hear some people say, leave your hands back. You hear all these different things, right? And I want to go through them all today and talk about what I think. How do I think that you get your upper body ready to hit, okay? So let's start with what I believe, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things I see and some of the things I hear and why I think that they could cause some issues. So when I'm trying to get my upper body ready to hit, I'm really thinking about two things. And we've talked a lot about feeling like I'm going to get my hips coiled. I want to feel from the waist up, I want to feel pretty much the same as I think with my upper body. So I'm trying to get my upper body to get coiled, okay? And so if you look at most hitters and you're looking from this perspective, well, they can start all different ways, right? Some hitters start open, some start even, doesn't really matter. But you'll see that when they start to get ready to hit and they start to get coiled, you're gonna see this move where their upper body and shoulder is gonna go from, if they start even, you're gonna see this thing start to get coiled, and it's going to be pointing slightly to the right of the pitcher for a right-handed hitter and slightly to the left of the pitcher for a left-handed hitter, okay? So they're getting their upper body from here up. I'm getting this coiled, okay? Now I'm also thinking about, I call it getting pulled back. I don't want to push back. I feel when I'm doing this like I'm pulling back. Okay, so my rear elbow for a righty, it's your right hand. For a lefty, it's your left hand. That elbow gets behind my hand right here. So I coil and I'm pulling back. Elbow behind my hand. My arm is slightly making this move back behind me. I feel it back here. It's not tense, it's not aggressive, right? But I feel it. So I'm coiling and I'm pulling back, okay? Elbow behind my hands, like I'm setting up. The feeling is almost like I'm setting up to throw a punch into a punching bag, okay? If you think about like real aggressively, like if you were gonna start like a lawnmower, right? It's not that aggressive, but the idea of my elbow and my arm working back this way, and I'm using my back to do it, okay? So I'm not just kind of flopping my arm back here. I can feel it working right back here, right down the back side, this back right side of my back. And as a lefty, it's gonna be back here. It's a little bit higher than that, but I'm not flexible enough to point it out to you, okay? But it's on the rear back side that you're gonna feel it, all right? So really feel it with the back and this arm working that way, okay? And I want to do this for a couple reasons. For one, it's going to allow my swing to not be dominated by my upper body. So if I don't coil and pull back, right? If I don't do that, well, my upper body has a tendency to want to start going forward early. I want to feel myself coil and pull back so that then when my lower body starts to work and I tilt back and start to turn my knob and I start to get palm up, palm down, things we've talked about in other videos, now I'm able to get that deep barrel turn, okay? If I don't feel that, if I'm just here and I just start to go forward and I don't pull back and coil, it's going to be really hard to turn the barrel deep, right? Everything's going to want to kind of go out front this way. So I've got to pull it back. The other thing is, as I'm striding out, when I start to coil and pull back, it also helps me stay back a bit, right? So if I don't have that, if I'm just here and I just start going, again, I feel like I want to get going forward a bit too much. and it doesn't keep me balanced and keep me back. All right, so those are a couple things that it really helps with. Let's talk about some things that I see. One thing I see, a lot of people would just say, hey, get your hands back, right? There's a lot of ways to get your hands back. And what I see a lot when people or coaches say get your hands back, I see players want to push their hands just straight back towards the catcher, like this. And when I make this move, I feel that my swing gets very long, right? And I don't feel like I can turn the barrel very well from back there, and I feel like there's just too much length in my swing, and it starts to feel like it's going to get dominated by a lot of my arms. I feel like I can't really use my hands very well when I get back here versus when I just coil and I just pull back. And when I say hands, I don't mean hands like throwing my hands out at the ball. I mean being able to turn my hands, okay? So I push back this way. If I feel like I'm pushing back too much with my lead arm and I'm just doing this, it's gonna cause some issues. Typically, you're gonna feel like you're gonna get a little bit long, probably a little bit too armsy. You may lose the barrel, a lot of things that aren't gonna be very good. Now the other thing is you'll hear a lot of people say that you want to just walk away from your hands or your hands don't do anything, okay? But for me, if I just put my hands like this and I don't do anything, if I don't coil and I don't pull back and I just go like this, well, when I stride, my hands are not going to stay back. They're going to just kind of come with me. And this, same thing, this is not a good move to be able to then turn the barrel deep. This makes me feel like everything is going to get pushed forward and I'm going to become dominant with my upper body. And I'm going to kind of have this upper body swing, and I'm not going to be able to turn the barrel deep, okay? So do nothing with your hands. Feel like I want to go too far forward, upper body. Push my hands back. Feel like I'm going to get really long, lose my barrel, get kind of armsy. If I coil and I just pull back, now I feel like I can tilt and turn my hands, and I feel like I can be short, quick from the inside, and again, really be able to use my hands. And a lot of times, I talked about this a lot, I've played with a lot of really good hitters, and most good hitters, not most, but a lot of good hitters don't even really know some of the things that they do. They just hit, right? And they'll feel certain things, and sometimes they think they feel, they feel something, and they say they're doing something, and then they look, you look at them hit, or you watch them on video, and they're not actually doing that. But one thing that they'll talk about a lot is the hands. And they'll always say, so many hitters say, hey, use your hands, use your hands. I really feel like I'm using my hands. What exactly does that mean? Again, I think a lot of hitters aren't even sure what they mean. A lot of hitters will actually show you that they're kind of just doing that. For me, I think the reason why so many good hitters talk about using their hands is because they are using their hands, but it's not a pushing the bat out like this. It's a turning the bat. So when I make this move and my barrel starts to work back, and now I'm able to get in the zone early, I'm able to turn the barrel up into the ball that way, all right? So I want to be able to feel, I don't want to lose the feeling of my hands. And this is one thing back when I think about me playing, right? And I had a couple of tough years where I kind of lost my swing. And back then I knew nothing about swings. I just hit, right? And then when I stopped hitting, I couldn't hit anymore. I had no idea why I wasn't hitting. I had no clue. But one of the things thinking back is what I felt is that I lost a feeling of my hands. I lost the feeling of being able to really use my hands, right, now that I think back. And I look at my swing, and I've done a bunch I've had a bunch of different issues with my swing throughout my career, like most players do. But I feel like I started making moves that didn't put my hands in a position where I could turn them quick, right? I started losing them. And so again, when I start watching and I start seeing guys that make this move too much, they start losing their hands a bit. So hopefully that makes sense, all right? So coil, pull back, put you in a really, really good position to be able to use your hands, be able to turn your hand quick, be able to get the barrel up into the ball with really good direction. Should put you in a really good spot to make consistent contact and hopefully be a consistent hitter. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you later.